Good day everyone! Welcome to our lesson 2 in our course, which is the banking and financial institutions. So in this lesson, I'm going to discuss the role of money in banking and financial institutions. We're also going to differentiate, although in the past videos, nagkaroon na kayo ng overview what is a banking institution. So in this lesson, we will dig deep doon sa mga banking institutions and also the non-banking or non-depository institutions. So with that, let's start. I want to start with these 3 scenarios. Okay, so I want to get your participation by putting your comments down sa comment sections kung ano yung naiisip nyo na best way or kung ano yung unang pumasok sa isip nyo na gagawin nyo when you are in this kind of scenario. Okay, so let's look at the scenario number 1. Okay, for example, you're a student. Okay naman nagtatrabaho ka or whatever, kung ano man ginagawa mo. What will you do if you have excess cash in your pocket? Okay, what will you do if you have excess cash in your pocket? For example, sobra yung baon mo, o kaya naman, binigyan ka ng budget for this, for example, for your school or for your project, pero sumobra siya. What are you going to do with that excess money? Okay, so I'm gonna give you 3 choices. Number 1, are you going to spend it? Okay, sino ba dito yung meron ng naka-add to cart na sa Lazada or sa Shopee para i-confirm na lang sa 12/12 sale? Ayan, so if naisip mo na may sobra kang pera and then naisip mo agad na bibili ko ng ganito, okay, kasi I need this, or kailangan ko ng ganito, or gusto ko ng ganito. Ayan, so just comment, I'm gonna spend it. Okay, next, are you going to save it? Okay, so kung naisip mo meron kang sobrang pera, pumasok ba agad sa isip mo that you're going to save it? Itatago mo ba ito? Or iniisip mo, i-deposit mo agad sa bank account mo if you have? Okay, and last one, are you going to invest it? Okay, I want to see on the comments down below kung ilan sa inyo yung nakaisip na you're going to spend for it, you're going to save it kahit sa anong paraan, or you're going to invest it. For example, bibili ka ba ng stocks? O kaya naman, yung friend mo merong negosyo, mag-i-invest ka ba sa negosyo na meron siya? Ayan, so I want to know your answers on the comments down below. Okay, next. Okay, let's move to our next scenario. Next scenario is, without thinking of the money involved, whether you have your money today or not, okay, for example, hindi natin iisipin yung pera. Okay, what business would you like to try? Okay, what business would you like to try? Sige, I want you to comment down below, what kind of business would you like to try ngayon? Okay, sa ngayon, hindi mo iisipin kung saan ka kukuha ng pera. Okay, hindi mo iisipin, hindi mo i-consider yung pera na meron ka. Kasi yung iba, napipigilan sila na magnegosyo kasi iniisip nila wala silang pera. So, just forget about it and then think of the business, the dream business that you would like to try as of this moment. Okay? And then, okay, kasunod nun is, dahil nga tingin mo wala pa sa kapasidad mo to provide for this kind of business, where do you think you will get the funding? Okay, saan ka kukuha ng pondo mo? Saan ka kukuha ng pang-start mo sa business na ito? So yun, so pwede kang mag-comment na anything. For example, mag-reply ka na lang dun sa comment mo, like for example, I'm thinking of borrowing from my boyfriend. O, diba? Parang si V, ayan, ang hirap. So, o kaya naman, I'm thinking of borrowing from my parents. I'm thinking of borrowing sa bangko. Ayan. Or I'm thinking of pag-iipunan ko muna to. Ayan. So, kung ano yung naisip mo na funding, source of fund for that kind of business that you would like to try as of this moment, ayan, you may comment down sa ating comment section. So, let's move to our third scenario. Okay, so suppose that you have a business running. For example, you already have your business. Tapos, dahil medyo nag-click siya, for example, dito ka nagtayo sa Bulacan. Tapos, parang nakita mo, ang ganda ng opportunity ng business na to kasi nag-click siya dito sa Bulacan. So, it is really possible na mag-click din siya sa Manila or sa iba pang places. Okay, so you're thinking of expanding, pero wala kang enough cash to pay for the expansion. So, kahit na medyo kumikita yung business mo, hindi pa rin nun kakayanin yung expenses kapag nag-expand ka. Okay, saan mo naiisip na kumuha ng additional funding? Okay, so parang medyo hawig lang din siya kanina, pero yung kanina, you're going to start your own business. Etong pangalawa, meron ka ng existing business. Okay, so now, I'll give you options again. Pero kung may naisip pa kayo ng iba pang options, you may write it or you may comment sa comment section. Number 1 is, you're thinking of borrowing from your friends. Okay, kasi hindi naman ako niyan papahiramin eh. Kung mag-start ka ng business mo. Pero if they are seeing that your business is prospering, okay, parang ang lago ng business mo, parang ang ganda mag-invest, ang sarap mong tulungan, siguro they will consider to lend you some amount of money. Okay? So you're thinking of borrowing from your friends. Number 2, you're thinking of borrowing from banks. Okay? Eto, kung mag-start ka ng business, baka medyo mahirapan ka pa or maging hesitant ka pa to borrow from banks. Pero if the banks, kapag nakita ng banks na nagpa-prosper yung business mo, it's really possible na i-lend ka nila ng some amount of money for your expansion. Okay? And last one is, you will go to the lending institutions. Okay? So, if may naisip ka pa na iba bukod dito sa tatlong options na ito, ayan, pwede mo rin i-comment sa comment section. So, based on these 3 scenarios, madalas siya nangyayari. Okay, so, for example, you are the borrower, so maghahanap ka ng saver or ng lender, someone na may excess cash, sana all, di ba, may excess cash. So, yan, so, kapag nakakita ka directly, for example, from your friends, o kaya ni-refer lang sa'yo ng friend mo dahil napapautang daw ito, so, you will now undergo a private placement. Ito ay kung meron kang kakilala directly na willing magpahiram. Pero what if ang hiramin mo is more than 100,000 o kaya naman millions? Diba? May mga ganitong nangyayari, especially if you're going to expand your business. So, what if si borrower at si lender are not present at the same time and at the same place? For example, wala kang makitang lender, wala kang makitang may excess cash na ganitong amount para magpahiram sa iyo. Okay? That is where financial system comes in. Okay? Ngayon, dahil kung wala siyang makita, si borrower will now go directly sa financial institutions. Okay? So, yun. So, sino ba si financial institutions? Si financial institutions, although na define na natin siya in the past videos, si financial institutions receive savers' supply of funds and match it with borrowers' demands of funds. So, si saver ngayon or si lender can now go sa financial institution para i-save, para i-keep doon yung pera niya. Tapos, si financial institutions na ang bahala na i-match yung pera mo sa borrower. Okay, so in financial institutions, it could be possible na yung pera mo, yung savings mo ay magamit ng ibang tao without you knowing it. Okay, that's what's happening when you keep your money in the banks, kahit sa insurance, any financial institutions. Mostly, ganon ang ginagawa. Okay? Now, kesa naman, for example, one of the advantage is, kesa naman ikaw ang maghanap ng papautangin mo, and then hindi mo sure kung magbabayad ba to, ayan, hayaan mo na si financial institution ang bahalang maghanap ng hihiram sa'yo or mag-invest. Gagamitin yung pera mo to invest in something, tapos sila na rin ang bahalang maningil. Okay, so ikaw, magkikip ka lang talaga and magsisave. So let's describe more what are financial institutions. So si financial institutions are the businesses and organizations involved in the collection and distribution of money. They develop the methods and procedures that allow them to collect money from depositors and lend it out to borrowers. So yung mga financial institutions, sila yung nagde-develop ng financial securities, and they provide financial markets wherein si lender, si borrower, yung mga investors, yung mga speculators can exchange money. Okay, so for it could be for their own ownership interests. For example, yung stocks, bonds, so everything, and then pwede din si financial institutions din yung nagpo-pool ng procedures on how are you going to get your insurance premiums for your financial protection. So, yung pooled money na yon or yung mga money na makukuha nila from the depositors, it will be given as loans or investments sa mga negosyo and other organizations to finance their specific projects and to provide for their financing needs. So, syempre may interest yon. So, doon kikita yung insurance na binabayaran mo. O kaya naman, doon din kikita yung, doon mag-i-interest yung savings na tinatago mo sa isang bangko. Si financial institutions is also financial intermediaries. Ano yan? Yung mga intermediaries, they are the middleman between two parties in a financial transactions. For example, si commercial bank, investment bank, mutual or pension fund. Later, we will discuss each of this. So, as a financial institution, so para siyang agent, para siya yung middleman na yung profit niya will earn higher returns on investments than they pay for their sources of money. So, for example, I have many people na naririnig or telling me na ang liit lang ng interest sa bangko. Okay, bakit? Kasi the banks will get, ang laki ng interest nila when you borrow from them, pero ang liit lang ng interest sa binibigay nila sa savers nila. Why? Kasi they also earn their own profits from that. Kasi sila yung middleman, sila yung intermediaries. Si financial institutions or financial intermediaries ay tinatawag din na depository institutions. So yun, these are the banks, credit unions. So what happens is they collect money from depositors and lend the money out to debtors. So lahat ng borrowers will be, hindi naman lahat, pero they will get or they collect money and then they will lend the money to other people. Doon sila kumikita. Or that is the one way for them to earn, yung mga depository or mga banking and financial institutions. Now, I have a question here. Why do we need depository institutions or mga bangko when we can borrow directly from other people? For example, marami ka namang friends na mayaman. So why do you need to borrow from them? Or why do you need to go to the bank para mag-borrow kung meron ka naman ng mga tao na pwede naman talagang hiraman? Okay? So, you may comment down on the comment section kung ano ang inyong idea. So, this is one of the answer or the idea bakit kailangan pa ng depository institutions. So, they mitigate the lending risks by assessing the credit worthiness of borrowers for possible loans, monitoring the borrowers after the loan, and collecting on delinquent accounts. So, syempre, ang pautang has risks. Kahit naman yung mga nagpapautang ng mga 20%, ganyan, may risk pa din yon. Kasi pwedeng merong irregularity of information between the lender and the borrower. For example, sinabi ni borrower na may trabaho siya, pero wala naman pala siyang trabaho. So, halimbawa, sinabi ni borrower na may dadating talaga siyang pera, ganyan, pero wala naman talaga siya pambayad from that money na hinihiram niya sa'yo. So, mas alam ni borrower yung kapasidad niya to pay kesa sa mga lender. This is why it is very risky for people to lend out money directly to others. Kaya, na-formulate or merong depository or financial institutions. What they do is, they assess the credit worthiness of borrowers for possible loans. So, sure sila, pinifilter nila yung mga nangihiram sa kanila And they make it sure na mababayaran yung pera mo na hiniram sa kanila. Okay? Sila din ang nagmo-monitor niyan, sila ang naniningil, so hindi ka na may stress kasi when you borrow directly, when you lend directly, ikaw pa yung maniningil. So, di ba, minsan nag-friendship over pa kayo kasi ang hirap singilin, di ba? Sila pa yung galit. Pero dito sa bangko, sila na yung bahalang maningil. Sila yung tatawag, sila yung magko-collect. Okay? That is why this is somehow helpful sa atin, lalo na sa mga nagle-lend. Kasi meron na silang middleman ngayon. Meron ng agent na maniningil and meron ng magmo-monitor dun sa mga nag-loan or mga pinahiram nila. Bukod pa sa mga benefits that I already stated kanina, these are the services na pinaprovide sa atin ng bangko. Number one is they provide safekeeping services and liquidity. So, syempre, sabi nga nila, mas safe yung pera mo when it is kept sa bangko. Bakit? Kasi hindi mo siya agad-agad makukuha kapag may gusto kang paggastusan, ganyan. Pero, at the same time, it provides liquidity. So, it is available, especially kapag ang bangko mo ay marami namang branches, so you can withdraw anytime and anywhere. Lalo na kung marami nga siyang branches ng ATM niya. Number two is they provide a payment system consisting of checks and electronic funds transfers. Mas convenient siya as of this moment. Medyo risky lang, syempre, pero mas nag-provide siya dahil sa technology, nag-provide siya ng convenience sa atin. So ngayon, accessible na yung payment system natin. Money can be transported by checks. Ayan, sa check na lang. I-transfer mo na lang siya online or by credit or debit card. I remember, I have my online business as of this moment. And then, sobrang convenient niya kasi kapag dineliver doon, and then dahil gusto nila COD, pero wala silang pera na physical sa kanilang sa tahanan nila or so anywhere they will just kapag nandun yung delivery, they will just send it via GCash, send a screenshot, and then that is okay. So bayad na sila. So yun, so it is very accessible. It reduces also the need for people to have a substantial amount of cash on hand na sobrang risky. So, and then it also provides verification of payment. So, pwedeng thumb mark mo, so yun, o kaya naman, kailangan ng OTP, so whatever, so yun, so merong verification, so medyo mas, na siya, mas mahigpit na siya ngayon, may risk pa din, pero mas convenient siya compare sa meron kang maraming pera sa wallet mo or sa bag mo. Number three is they pull the money of many savers and lend it out to people and businesses. So ito nga yung sinasabi ko kanina na sila yung magko-collect ng money ng mga may excess cash, yung mga marami silang savings or marami silang sobrang pera, and then ipapautang nila sa ibang tao at sa ibang even the businesses. And last one is they invest in securities. Yung investment securities, it provides banks with the advantage of liquidity, and in addition to the profits from realized capital gains when these are sold. So those are the investment securities. Now, okay, how do banks earn? Paano naman kumikita ang mga bangko? So number one is, syempre, through our cash deposits and fees. Ano yan? Di ba kapag nag-transfer ka sa ibang bangko, merong transaction fee. Doon sila kumikita. What else? Minsan nga, kahit bank-to-bank transactions, I remember kapag nag-deposit ako sa ibang branch, for example sa BPI, I don't know if it's the same. Kasi before quarantine period pa yon. So, kapag nag-deposit ka, meron 50 pesos na charge. Kung, halimbawa sa Mandaluyong ako na-deposit, and then sa Bulacan ang account niya. So, yun. So, napakalaki niya. Imagine, kung ilang tao ang nade-deposit, and then nata-transfer from bank to bank, kahit nga parehas ng banks, okay, meron pa ring fee. Kapag naman ibang bangko from BPI to BDO, malaki din ang fee nila. So yun, so it's the same, there are fees, transaction fees. What else? Kapag less than minimum yung balance mo sa savings, for example, ang minimum amount ng savings dapat ay 3,000, for at the end of the month, 2,900 lang yung nandun sa bank account mo. Meron ding fee yun. So, babawasan din nila yung savings mo. What else? For example, ang pera mo na lang sa bangko ay 90 pesos. Hindi mo na yun mawi-withdraw sa ATM kasi 100 ang minimum na withdrawal sa ATM. So, what will happen to that is mapupunta na rin yun sa bangko kapag na-close ang account mo. So, those are the cash or how banks earn through cash. Okay, next, number 2, securities. Ito yung kanina sinasabi ko that they invest in securities. What are those? These are the stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. So, syempre, dahil maraming pera si bangko, pwede na sila ngayong mag-invest sa stocks, stock market, sa bonds, sa mga mutual funds, sa mga companies, so yun. So, wherever investment it is, so yun. So, they can now invest dahil marami silang pera or maraming nagsisave ng pera sa institution nila. What else? Loans. Ayan. So, napakaraming loan ng bangko. It could be commercial and industrial loans, yung mga business loans. Malaki din ang percent nila dyan. Real estate loans, housing, halimbawa, or bumili ka ng bahay, pwede kang mag-house loan sa kanila. Halimbawa, magpapatayo ka ng subdivision, ayan, pwede kang mag-real estate loan sa kanila. Auto loans, so sa mga sasakyan. Credit cards, ayan, so napakaraming. Kung halimbawa, nakalimutan mo bayaran yung credit card mo, so yun, so napakalaki din ng fee nila. Interbank loans, so maybe some of you might know this and some of you might not. Yung ibang bangko that are capable, nagle-lend sila sa ibang bangko na medyo tumatagilid. Okay, that is what we call interbank loans. So yun, so maraming ganun na nangyayari, especially yung mga rural banks, kasi yun, so pinapautang sila ng mga mas malalaking bangko. Okay, and what else? Other assets. So, saan nila nakukuha yung mga ibang assets na to? These are the real properties such as equipment, buildings, land, yung mga collateral na nare-repossess. For example, kinolateral mo yung bahay mo sa loan. Ayan, that is another asset for the bank, lalo na kung makukuha nila yan. What else? Yung sasakyan na meron ka. Kapag hindi mo nabayaran yung auto loan mo, so i-repossess nila yan, tapos ibebenta nila yan ulit. So yun, so marami silang ways on how banks earn.